Namaskar. You're watching Ritam News and I'm Suruchi Das. India is increasingly making its presence felt on the global stage, whether it's in promoting international peace or driving global economic growth. On all fronts, India is moving forward. However, India's rising influence has not been well received by some foreign media, particularly in the West. These outlets have been accused of spreading misinformation and publishing biased reports to undermine India's image. Following the recent Lok Sabha elections, several Western media outlets have been criticized for their anti-India coverage. France's prominent newspaper, Le Monde, claimed that India is a democracy in name only. The New York Times in the US portrayed the elections as being hostile to Muslims, while CNBC suggested that the elections themselves posed a threat to Indian democracy. In reality, these claims were far from the truth. India's minority communities freely exercised their voting rights, and the elections were conducted in a democratic and peaceful manner. Even the opposition expressed satisfaction with the election results, while the ruling party welcomed the outcome. In response, the US State Department issued a statement clarifying the New York Times report, commending India's commitment to religious freedom. This clearly indicates that these articles were intended to damage India's reputation internationally. Good journalism requires balanced reporting, presenting facts and perspectives from all sides. However, the Western media, without adequate context or considering different viewpoints, appears to have constructed a one-sided narrative against India. Additionally, when the Indian government implemented the Citizenship Amendment Act, many Western newspapers and channels reported the news inaccurately. The Washington Post reported, "India announces steps to implement a citizenship law that excludes Muslims." Similarly, BBC echoed this narrative. However, these reports fail to explain that the law is intended to provide citizenship to persecuted religious minorities from Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Afghanistan. They also neglected to mention the discrimination faced by non-Muslims in these countries and how this law aims to provide them with a dignified life in India. Western media has often struggled to acknowledge India's growing stature and stable government. Their history of anti-India coverage is not new. For example, in 1998, when the Vajpayee government conducted nuclear tests, Western media labeled India a threat to peace and criticized it for spending on nuclear weapons instead of addressing poverty. On numerous issues related to India, the Western media has repeatedly pushed an anti-India agenda. Whether it's economic decisions like demonetization and GST, the Indian Air Force's airstrike in Pakistan's Balakot, the abrogation of Article 370 in Kashmir, the implementation of the Citizenship Amendment Act, or India's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and global assistance efforts. These outlets have often portrayed these actions as failure or disasters. It is therefore crucial to challenge and expose these biased narratives presented by some of these media channels.